of Cosplay Sanctuary. This is your host, ScottyB. Once again, you'll notice that I do not have a guest on the show and my co-host is not here, but there are a few things that I did want to share with you on the channel in these shorter videos that I do post every Friday. Of course, if you want to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, please do. I always appreciate that. There's plenty of room for more. If you have something that you would like to share with the show, you can find us in everything in the description below. And of course, you can always leave a comment if you do have something that you would like to share with Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary, of course, myself. I would like to talk with you about views and about getting views. And as you know, I have a small YouTube channel. So my view count is not very high, and that's okay because you know what? We've covered this topic before on the podcast, and it is something that does come up because there are a lot of cosplayers in the community who really do take it personally when they post something, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or whatever the case may be, and they don't get that level of engagement that they were looking for when they put all of their hard work and energy into the post. So we're not going to attack the algorithm today. You're going to see me looking at my notes and looking over the camera and looking at my notes. Today, we are going to really talk about just viewership in general and the kinds of choices that you can make for your YouTube content. Of course, I'm getting this from my online mentor, Sunny Leonard-Doozy, who we have talked about on the show before. She has a great channel. I will promote that at any point. Go over and see what Sunny is working on her channel, Sunny Leonard-Doozy. She has so many great resources for people who are trying to get started on YouTube, and I have used her programs myself to some great degrees with other creators, and of course with my own channel, which is slow and steady winning the race. I don't need 300,000 subscribers today. But she does mention on her show, and I will mention here, that there are really 3 categories for you to create content inside of in terms of the type of content that you put out into the YouTube space. You have evergreen content, you have viral content, and you have the deep dive content. So what is that really all about? Like, I'm not going to get into too much detail on what each of them is. Evergreen content is just it's a very relatable content. It's a very repeatable content. It stands the test of time. So it's not referring to necessarily something that's happening this week or today. It's not a review on a show that just came out. It is not an unboxing of some kind on a new thing that is coming out in the space, a new figurine, a new comic, a new something. It's not that. Evergreen content is really the content like talking about how to get more views on YouTube or how to create something out of faux, something like that. Viral content is more trying to game the algorithm and trying to come up with something that is a hot topic and gain traction with it. There's usually a little bit of production value that goes into that, but not necessarily, because it can really just be a topic that everybody wants to hear about, and you become the authority on that topic. Your video goes viral. Sometimes it can be accidental. Sometimes it's something that's a joke, and you'll see a lot of those sorts of shorts that people use. And oftentimes shorter content does have a higher tendency of going viral because that's what people are looking for in that short form content, something quick and consumable. Deep content is a little bit more like this. This is kind of a blend between evergreen and deep. Deep content means you're spending a lot of time on the subject. It means that you are an expert, or at least you are an authority on that topic, and you are going fairly deep, levels and levels into whatever it is that you happen to be talking about for that episode. So have topics that are mainstream, current, relevant to the space, what people search for. So you have to do a little bit of research on what your audience is actually looking for. That part you have to figure out. You can't really fake your experience. So that's something that I would really caution on. If you're not an expert, if you're not comfortable talking about whatever it is that you are talking about for that subject, then don't try and fake the experience. Don't try and make things up, because you will be fact checked. There are always people online who want to make sure that you know that you don't know. Like they love to do that. You'll always get the people going, hey, that was completely inaccurate. You do want to cover things that people will be helped by and that they want to know more about. So that's really the sticky content, the things that keep people coming back to your channel. That's what you want to do, and that's going to get you views. But really, the point of having more views is with more viewership, you get more watch time. And watch time is really the big deal with your YouTube channel. The more time people spend on your channel, the more people that you have, in theory, the more time they're going to spend on your channel consuming your content. And that is where the algorithm likes to focus. So it's looking at how many people are coming in and how long they're watching any of your videos. So if it's going to promote that video, if it's going to get that video in front of people, it's going to get videos in front of people because it knows that people come to your channel and spend time on your channel. It has value to your audience. Now, I'm not a big fan of mainstream. I don't really care for it too much, and it's not my main focus for this channel. We will probably have episodes where we cover some of the mainstream topics. Actually, I won't have an episode on Dune, which is coming out this week. This is the episode that I chose to do instead of talking about Dune endlessly, which I definitely could because it is my favorite fandom. I love it, and I hope you all go and watch the movie on HBO Max as it's coming out, or go see it at the theater. I think it's coming out in the theater. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that it will. But yes, it's amazing. I love Dune and talking about it, but that is not our main focus for today. Cosplay tutorials are also not my main focus because I believe that you have better resources available to you than watching me fumble through trying to build something out of foam in my spare time. Like I'm not much of a creator in terms of that. My creation and my process is really the fandom behind the fandom that I really love to hear about it and talk about all of these different things and wonderful creations, but myself, not very interesting in terms of what I might be able to produce in cosplay. It's going to be a really steep learning curve. I'm in year 2, so probably by like year 10, so in 8 years, maybe I'll have some things to talk about in terms of what works and what doesn't for building a cosplay. So if you came here for that, you're gonna have to wait for Astrovoy to come back, or you could see some of the episodes with my guests where they go very deep in detail on the things that they've created, just amazing builds, which is one of the reasons why I love to have people on the show. What happens when there are no views on your video? What do you do? Do you freak out? Do you panic? Do you quit? Do you unpublish the video? Well, no. I mean, it's not always the biggest deal in the world. Nobody's going to get hurt. Nothing bad happens. Come out with a video that's really not getting a ton of traction or a lot of views. Many of my videos don't, and you'll notice on different people's channels, if you look through all of their different videos that they've come out with year over year and week after week, that some get a lot of traction, and some don't get hardly any at all compared to the other videos. You could see maybe thousands of views on a couple of videos, and you can see hundreds and maybe not even hundreds of views on others. This isn't terribly important, not to me anyways. I don't have a full-time crew. I don't have a full-time like 40, 50, 60 hours a week to dedicate to creating this channel. So I'm not going to be able to compete in that space necessarily as far as like really bringing to life a YouTube channel and becoming a YouTuber that just really scales all of this stuff up. So right now it's where it is, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the views that I get. I'm happy with my analytics. But it is something that you should pay attention to if you are trying to look into what you want to do with your channel and if you want more views. The other thing, and what I've talked about over and over again, is consistency. If you are not consistent with when you produce your content, if you are not consistently producing your content on one platform, and if you are inconsistent in your topics or subjects, or you're just moving all over the place because you just wanted something random that you needed to come up with, you just had to post a video and it was not thought out, and you just were like, here's some random things, or here's some highlights from my Twitch channel, or whatever the case may be, but your topic is cooking or something like that. So you have to be consistent, and you have to keep a steady pace with your YouTube channel. That is, at least when you're starting and you don't have like a huge audience and you're not getting a ton of views, it's good to just remain consistent and keep bringing out more content that people can relate to, that is in your wheelhouse, so to speak, is in your area of expertise. So these videos usually run a little bit longer. It's generally that 3 to 5 minute spot. After that, people generally do tend to drop off of a video fairly quickly. You can see this in your YouTube analytics if you have a YouTube channel, and really being everywhere isn't that important It's not important to be on every single platform. I know I've talked about being on at least 10 platforms in the past. That is really like, if you're trying to like really make a splash on social media, you do want to kind of be on the top 10 platforms and creating content at scale on each of those platforms. But you will lose a lot of viewership. You will lose a lot of your focus if you try to do this right away and you do not have people behind you to help you with that. If you're just one person, best idea is to focus on one platform. So if you're just producing content that works for Instagram, stick with Instagram. If you're just producing content that works for YouTube, stick with YouTube. If you want to go with Twitch, go with Twitch. But being on all three of those platforms and trying to scale all three of them at the same time can be very, very difficult, very challenging, and very frustrating, because you're not going to grow at a very rapid pace because of the amount of just content that you have to produce at scale in order to stay relevant in all three of those spaces at once. And they're very different. Each one of them consumes its own amount of time. So I would very much caution on that. And really talking about production last week, talking about production, the production quality isn't as hard or as deep or as expensive as you think it needs to be. It's really just going through the process of improving your videos over time and over the course of years or months or whatever the case may be, creating that body of work. Thank you, Roberto Blake. The body of work that just comes with being on the platform over time. And you will see as time goes on that you go from point A to point B, and you see all of the growth in your ability to communicate what you want to do to help your community, your tribe, your viewers get more value out of what you are sharing with them. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or thoughts about this episode. And of course, you can find us online at www.heroesofcosplaysanctuary.com. Everything will be in the description below. Thanks so much for being here this week, and I will see you